We're just going to come in to our lying down position on the mat, and we're going to go through our joint mobility, just helping to ground us down as well, getting nice and comfy and just starting to loosen out the body. So just flattening down the shoulder blades on the mat, resting the hands out to the side, allowing the feet to fall out nice and comfortably. And just taking a few deep breaths in and out. So just close the eyes if we haven't already. And just starting to become aware of our physical body on the mat. Starting to notice any niggles or any aches or pains we might have. And if we do notice any tightness or any aches and pains, just making sure to be mindful of them throughout the practice, and not just now but when we leave the room as well and get on with our day. And just starting to become aware now of our breath. Starting to bring in our full yogic breath if we haven't already. So as we inhale, allowing the belly button to come up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, allowing the belly button to fall back down towards the floor again. So with the inhale, just filling that tummy up, just like filling up a balloon. And as we exhale, allowing the belly button to fall back down again. So just keeping that going for a few breaths now, just to help to ground us down. And as we continue to breathe nice and deeply, we'll just start to wriggle the toes nice and slowly. As we inhale, just point the toes away from you. And as you exhale, draw the toes back towards you, pushing out through the heels. And just bringing the feet hip distance apart if we haven't already. And as we inhale, just rotate the knees inwards towards each other. And as we exhale, rotate the knees outwards. The next exhale, then just resting down the legs again, bringing them to where it's comfortable for you. Taking a nice big deep breath in. Pause for a few seconds before we exhale. Focusing now on our shoulders, and as we inhale, just draw the shoulders up towards the ears. And as we exhale, draw the shoulders down towards the hips. And just flowing with our breath, up and down. And just relaxing the shoulders down onto the floor. As we inhale now, just allowing the hands to flow up towards the ceiling and even back behind us if we have space to do that. And exhale, allowing the hands to come back down again. Breathing in, just allowing the belly button to go up towards the ceiling as your hands come back behind. And as you exhale, then just allowing the belly button to fall back down towards the floor again. This time we're just going to bend the elbow on the inhale, so both elbows, bending the elbows, touching the shoulders with the fingertips. Exhaling, straightening out the arms. So inhale, we'll bend the elbows, touching the shoulders. And exhale, straighten the arms. From here then just bringing in our wrist rotation. So just clockwise and anti-clockwise, just balancing everything out. Then as we inhale, just making fists with the hands. Exhale, letting go, spread the fingers. Inhale, make fists. And exhale, spread the fingers. Just keeping that going for a few more breaths. And just starting now to start to wriggle the fingers nice and slowly. Just trying to feel each knuckle, every single part of the hands and the fingers. Just loosening everything up. Brilliant. Just taking a nice big deep breath down into the tummy. Allowing the tummy to expand and then the ribs to expand and the chest to rise with every inhale. And as you exhale then just letting go. On the next inhale then just bringing the right knee up towards the chest. Both hands around the knee, just draw the knee in towards your chest. On that straight leg out in front you can flex the foot and you're pushing out through the heel. You're drawing your right knee up towards you and you're pushing that left heel away from you. And just relaxing that left leg. And we're going to bring a little bit of rotation now into the joints along the legs. So just rotating the ankle clockwise and anti-clockwise. Nice, slow movement. Bringing in some rotation into our knee. Brilliant. And then you're going to bring your right hand onto your right knee and we're going to make big circles then with the hip itself. So just opening up the hip and bringing that knee back in again. And we're just going to switch direction then. Lovely, and just bringing that right knee up towards the chest, both hands around the knee. Draw the knee in towards the chest. We're just going to get a recline and twist while we're here now, so just keeping that right knee up. We're going to bring the left hand onto the right knee, bringing that right hand down along the mat next to us, so wherever is comfortable for you. You want to keep both your shoulders flat down onto the mat now. Take a big deep breath in. And as we exhale then just allowing that right knee to come over towards the left side, and we're going to look over towards the right side then. So keep both your shoulders on the floor and just easing yourself into it. So just loosening up the back here, just nice stretch going on with the glutes, nice twist in the waist, and just breathing nice and deeply. We'll take a nice big deep breath in, and with our exhale then just slowly bringing that knee back to center again. We'll bring that right hand onto our right knee and just making big circles again, just like before. So again, just clockwise and anti-clockwise, loosening up that hip. On the next exhale, then just slowly bringing that right leg back out along the mat. And on the next inhale, bringing up the left knee, both hands around that left knee. We're going to flex that right foot. You're going to push out through the right heel and draw that left knee up towards the chest, bringing both hands around that knee. And just keeping both active just for a few seconds. And just relaxing that right leg now. From here, just bringing in a rotation in the joints now again, just loosening up and warming up the joints. So clockwise and anti-clockwise. Starting with the ankle. Moving on up to our knee. Drawing the knee up towards the chest. We're just going to bring in some rotation now into our hip. Lovely. We're going to bring now our right hand onto our left knee, our left hand down along the mat next to us, keeping both shoulders flat down onto the mat. Take a big deep breath in. And as we exhale, just allowing that left knee to come over towards that right side. And we're going to look over towards the left side. Try to keep both shoulders on the floor. And only going as far as it feels comfortable for you. We don't want to move too fast into anything. It's a nice, slow, controlled movement, using your breath to help you in and out. And just taking a nice big deep breath in, and as we exhale, just bringing that left knee back to center, bringing our left hand onto the left knee, making big circles again with that left hip, just loosening out the hip area. Brilliant. And just bringing both knees then one by one up towards the chest, both hands around the knees. Giving yourself a nice big hug, shoulder blades together. If you want, you can raise your head up off the floor to meet the knees. Just giving yourself a nice hug, lowering back nice and safely and gently, rocking side to side, just massaging the spine on the mat. Lovely. And from here then just rolling over onto your right side. Use your left hand then to bring it up nice and slowly and safely. So coming into our easy cross legs now. So just crossing the legs, and we're sitting nice and tall. So bringing the shoulder blades together at the back, sitting nice and tall, dipping the chin slightly towards the chest. We're making sure we're not rounding the shoulders. If we feel like we're being pulled backwards, you could sit up on a cushion, or if anyone has a block or anything at all that you can sit up on, so that you can make sure that the sit bones, or the weight, is evenly distributed on both bony parts of the bum. Absolutely fine. It doesn't need to be a yoga block or anything fancy like that you might have normally. So just kind of coming into a nice relaxed position now as we sit. So weight evenly distributed on the sit bones. Just relax now, breathing nice and deeply, just trying to ground yourself, feeling that connection with the mat beneath you. And just as we inhale now, just starting to imagine our breath now as being the colour red for the root chakra, the one closest down to the ground, the one responsible for helping to ground ourselves daily. So as we inhale through the nose, just visualising a lovely red energy coming in through the nose and working its way down along the body to the tailbone. And just allowing ourselves to feel balanced and calm and secure. And from here then we're just going to bring in some seated spinal twist, so nice gentle movement again. So we're going to go with our opposite hand to opposite leg. So in my case, I'm going to get that left hand and place it over onto the right knee. I'm going to bring my right hand back around behind me. So it's very important here not to crowd out the chest here, just to bring the shoulder blades together at the back. We're going to take a big deep breath in as we look straight ahead, and as we exhale then just twisting from the waist over towards that right side. So nice slow movement, everything's nice and controlled. So we're just going to flow a little bit with it now. So pause here, take a nice big deep breath in, and as we exhale, just coming the whole way over towards the opposite side, keeping the shoulder blades together, sitting nice and tall, and just looking over the left shoulder, taking a breath in, exhaling the whole way back over towards the right. Pausing here again, taking a nice big deep breath in, and as we exhale, the whole way over towards the other side again. Taking a breath in and just coming back to center again. Lovely. So just starting to rotate the shoulders backwards now, so just loosening up any tension we might hold, feeling the shoulder blades slotting down along the back each time we bring those shoulders down. We're just going to place then our left hand to the left side of the mat, so just beside where we're sitting. We're sitting nice and tall still. We're going to inhale and reach up and over with that right arm. So we're reaching across, getting a nice side stretch. Again, pause, take a big deep breath in. And as we exhale, bringing that right hand down. As we inhale, bring the left hand up. And as we exhale, bringing the left hand down, inhaling, right hand up, exhaling, bringing the right hand down, and finally then inhale, left hand up, and exhaling, bringing both hands down now. So from here then we're coming into our butterfly pose or our cobbler pose. So we're going to bring both feet out in front, so they're basically, the feet are mirroring each other, so they're up against each other out in front. So it doesn't matter if your feet are way out in front or if you have the heels coming right in towards the tailbone here. You just want to make sure that you're not crowding out the chest and round in the back. You're sitting nice and tall, shoulder blades together at the back. You can rest your hands on your shins, your knees, wherever's comfortable. And again, if you need a block or a cushion here, you can absolutely bring one underneath the bums to sit nice and tall. So from here, we're just going to start to flutter the knees, just loosening up the hips a little bit here. So keeping that nice tall seated stance while we are here. Brilliant. And just holding for a few seconds, taking a nice big deep breath in and out. From here then we can automatically come into our tortoise pose. So you're going to bring your hands underneath your legs, so your lower legs. You're going to bring your hands to where your ankles are, so the palms of the hands is on the outside ankles. You're resting your elbows in against your thighs. Again, you're starting to sit nice and tall. As we inhale then, you can draw your shoulders forward and we're looking down at the tailbone. So it's like our back is our shell, just like a tortoise or a turtle. And we're drawing our head in towards our shell. We're looking down at the mat. Shoulders are coming forward. And we're getting a really good stretch on that upper back here. So breathe nice and deeply into those shoulders and upper back muscles. And all down along our back. And just take a big deep breath in. And as we exhale, slowly bringing the hands out, bringing the hands onto the shins or wherever your hands will go comfortably without crowding out the chest, and just starting to flutter those knees. Relaxing the knees, starting to rotate the shoulders. So again, loosening up any tension you might hold in the shoulders here. Lovely. So just relax the shoulders, bringing the knees together now. We're going to come onto our hands and knees now into our table pose. So with our table pose, you're going to bring your wrists under the shoulders. Spread your fingers as much as you can. Middle fingers are pointing straight ahead and they're parallel like train tracks on the mat. Your knees are underneath your hips, pointing the toes straight back behind to flatten down the fronts of the feet and the shins. Anything at all that we're touching the mat with now, we're rooting down. We're making sure our back isn't caving downwards. We're keeping the back nice and straight, tummy nice and strong, shoulder blades together, looking in between both hands here. So this is your table pose. You're just going to root down here, completely relax, start to regulate your breathing now, coming into the rhythm of your own breath. Trying to have each part of your hand flat down onto the mat. And not forgetting about rooting down the feet behind. From here then we're going to come into our cat pose and we're going to hold our cat pose. So you want to make sure your shoulders and your hips aren't moving here. We're going to just arch the back up towards the ceiling, just like a cat stretching the way they arch their back up. So as you breathe out, you're going to arch the back up towards the ceiling, drawing the belly button up towards the ceiling, look through the feet to the back. It's like you're pushing the floor away from you here. Just holding here, flattening down those feet, breathing nice and deeply. And from here then we're going to go straight into our counter cat. So again, keep your shoulders and hips in place. What you're going to do is draw your belly button down, and as you're doing that, you'll notice your bum is coming up behind. So the sit bones are going up behind you. You're going to look straight ahead of the wall in front and draw your shoulder blades down the back, and you're holding here in your counter cat or your cow pose. Again, breathe nice and deeply. And we're just going to start to flow now between our cat and our counter cat. So as we breathe out, curl the back up towards the ceiling, look through the feet of the back. And as we breathe in, draw your belly button down towards the mat, shoulder blades down the back and looking straight ahead. And just going from one to the other. And just back into our table pose again. From here then we're going to come into our hare pose. So with our hare pose, you have choice of 2 different ways to do it really. So from here you can stay with the toes pointing straight back behind. You can just sit the bums back onto the heels, straighten the arms out in front, drawing the chest down towards the floor. It's like the fingertips are pushing the mat away from you. And you're going to rest the forehead down, draw your shoulder blades down the back, and just trying our best to keep that spine nice and straight so we can stretch it out along the mat. So if you feel like your head isn't able to touch the floor, if you're not there and you're hanging the neck, rather than hanging the neck, we want to keep the neck nice and straight. So again, in this position, you can get your block or your cushion. You're going to rest your forehead down on the block, arms are straight, and keeping that spine nice and straight. Another way we can try this hare pose is by bringing the knees wide apart on the mat, big toes together, sitting down onto the heels, arms are straight, resting the forehead down. So whichever one you want to do when we're staying in it, it's absolutely perfect. Lovely. So just take a big deep breath in. Brilliant. And as we exhale then, we're going to walk the hands over towards the right side of the mat. We're looking down at the floor, or if you can rest your forehead down. We're just getting a nice side stretch here when we're in this position. So just breathing into the ribs down that left side, breathing into the shoulder. Just pause and take a big deep breath in, and as we exhale, the whole way over towards the opposite side. Again, just feeling that stretch as we draw that right armpit down towards the floor, and just breathe nice and deeply. Taking a big deep breath in, and as we exhale, coming back to center again. From here then we're just going to walk the hands in towards us. If you already have your knees hip distance apart, you can keep them there. I'm just going to bring mine back in again. We're coming up into our table pose again, because we're going to do our downward dog next. So wrists again, we want underneath the shoulders. Spread your fingers as much as you possibly can. Middle fingers pointing straight ahead. Knees underneath the hips, pointing the toes straight back behind. From here then, if you do want it, you can walk the hands up slightly along the mat, just to give us a head start with it, because when we're in our downward dog, we don't want our shoulders to be above our wrists. We want to bring them back away so there's no pressure on the wrists when we're in it. So we're going to curl the toes to the back now. We're going to bring the hips up towards the ceiling, so your bum comes up towards the ceiling. We're going to sit the bum back towards the wall behind. So as you see, you can bend the knees to sit the bum back as far as you can first. Looking through the feet at the back, draw your shoulders away from the ears, and then you can start to straighten up a little bit, just making sure your back doesn't start to curl. So you want a nice straight back here, and just breathe nice and deeply. Lovely. And just hold in here for just a few more breaths. On the next inhale now, we're going to walk the right foot up to the top of the mat. We're going to walk the left foot up to the top of the mat, and we're just going to come up now into our mountain pose. So with our mountain pose, we're going to hold it for a few seconds. I'm just going to come out here. So bringing your feet hip distance apart, or you can bring them together, toes straight ahead if we can. Spread the toes as much as you can. Shoulder blades together at the back, your hands down by the side, spread the fingers. So we're going to bring the shoulders up, back and down. Dipping the chin slightly towards the chest. Just even closing the eyes here now, just taking a nice big deep breath in and out. Pushing those big toes down into the floor. Drawing up the kneecaps. We're being really, really strong. Lovely. So we're going to come into our squat pose now. So you're going to get your thumbs. You're going to bring them here to where the panty line is. So you're just literally bringing the fingers down along the thighs then. Shoulder blades together at the back, elbows tucked in. So we're going to do our chair or our squat pose. I'm just going to come to the side here. And from here, you're going to make sure that you're keeping the back straight, chin dipped slightly towards the chest, taking a big deep breath in. And as you exhale, you're sitting down into that imaginary chair behind you. So keeping the back straight, make sure your knees aren't going off out past the toes. You're keeping them from doing that. Keeping those elbows tucked in, and you're sitting down into your chair pose. From here then we can bring the hands up, shoulder blades together at the back, and breathe. On the next exhale, exhale, then just allowing the hands to come down as we come up into standing. So the next one we're going to do is our folding forward bend. So with our folding forward bend, same position. So you're bringing the thumbs to the hip creases here, fingertips down along the thighs, elbows tucked in, dipping the chin slightly towards the chest. And we're going to just literally be moving from our hips. So we don't want to move the back at all. We want to keep it nice and straight. We don't want to round the back. We want to keep those shoulder blades together at the back. Thumbs down to the hip creases, elbows tucked in, taking a big deep breath in. And as we exhale, just folding forward from these hips, this hip line only. Keep the elbows in by the side. Pause when we need to inhale again. Exhaling, folding forward. Pause when we need to inhale again. And exhale, folding forward, keeping those shoulder blades coming together at the back. If it gets too much, you can't go any further, you can bend the knees slightly and it'll give you a small bit more space to come down into it. So just keeping yourself with that nice straight back. Brilliant. Taking a nice big deep breath in now, and as we exhale, we're going to come up nice and slowly up into standing again. So next we're going to do our sun salutation. So we're going to do 2 rounds of our sun salutation. So I'm going to start on the top of this mat behind, because it's kind of easier to see from a side angle the different positionings that I will be in. So coming up to the top of the mat, feet hip distance apart, shoulder blades together. We're starting in our mountain pose. As we inhale, we're bringing the hands up, looking up in between the hands. And as we exhale, just folding forward. So again, keeping that back straight, bend the knees as much as you need to bring the hands down onto the mat. Inhale, taking a big step back with that right foot. Drop the right knee, point the right toes back. Inhale, bring the hands up. And exhale, bring the hands down. Curling the toes to the back, taking that right knee off the mat. We'll walk back our left foot, so we're coming into our high plank. Just lowering the body down now. So if you want to bring the knees down first, you can. Point the toes back, and then let the elbows come back behind to lower your chest down onto the floor with your elbows tucked in by the side. Inhale, raise your chest up, keeping your belly button on the mat and keeping that length in the back of the neck so you're not curling the neck. Exhale, lower the chest down. Keep your elbows tucked in, curl the toes to the back, pushing yourself up into your downward dog. So bringing your sit bones up and back towards the wall behind us. On the next inhale, walking that right foot up to the top of the mat. Drop that left knee, point the left toes back. Inhale, bring the hands up. And exhale, bringing the hands down. Curl the toes to the back, take the left knee off the floor and walk up that left foot. Inhale, bringing the hands up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, walk the left foot back behind. Drop the left knee, point the left toes back. Inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Curl the toes to the back, take the left knee off the floor and walk back that right foot so you're into your high plank. And lowering the body down onto the floor, keep your elbows tucked in, point the toes back. Inhale into cobra, so raise the chest up, elbows tucked in. Exhale, lower the chest. Curl the toes to the back, keeping your elbows tucked in as you push yourself up into your downward dog. On the next inhale, walking that left foot up to the top of the mat. Drop your right knee, point the right toes back. Inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Curl the toes to the back, taking the right knee off the mat, walking up that right foot. Inhale and bring the hands up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Taking a big deep breath in again, walking that right foot back behind, drop the right knee, point the right toes back. Inhale, bring the hands up. And exhale. Curl the toes in the back, take the right knee off the floor and walk back that left foot into your high plank. And lowering the body down. Shoulder blades together, point the toes back. Inhale into your cobra. And exhale. Curl the toes to the back, elbows tucked in, bringing yourself up into your downward dog. Inhale, walking the right foot up to the top of the mat. Drop the left knee, point the left toes back. Inhale, bring the hands up. And exhale. Curl the toes to the back, walking that left foot up to the top of the mat. Inhale, bring the hands up. And exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, walk the left foot back behind. Drop the left knee, point the left toes back. Inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Curl the toes to the back, taking the left knee off the mat, walking back your right foot into your high plank. And lowering the body down onto the floor, shoulder blades together, point the toes back, elbows tucked in. Inhale into cobra. And exhale. Curl the toes to the back, keep your elbows tucked in as you push yourself up into your downward dog. And on the next inhale, walking that left foot up to the top of the mat. Drop your right knee, point the right toes back. Inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Curl the toes to the back, taking the right knee off the floor, walking up that right foot. Finally then, inhale, bring the hands up, bringing the hands together, and exhale, bringing the hands down into prayer position. Lovely. So we're just going to stand here in our prayer position for a few seconds, breathing nice and deeply, planting down the big toes into the mat, making sure that the toes are spread as much as we can. And just making sure in this mountain pose position that our bum isn't sticking out either at the back. We want to get the tailbone, drawing it down towards the floor, keeping your tummy nice and strong. Bringing the shoulders up, back and down. And now you can bring your hands down by your side, spread the fingers. Dipping the chin just slightly towards the chest to give that length in the back of the neck. Nice big deep breaths in and out. We're going to inhale now, just bringing the hands up towards the ceiling. We're going to interlink the fingers, turning the palms, the hands up towards the ceiling, and you're reaching right up. On the next exhale, just tilting over to one side. Inhale, come back to center. And on the next exhale, tilting over to the other side. Inhale, come back to center again. On the exhale, just allowing the hands to come back down. You can bring your hands onto the hips. What we're going to do now is we're going to do our folding forward over one leg. So we're going to bring the feet wide on the mat. So So left foot we're going to keep on the mat. We're going to walk back the right foot to the right side of the mat. So the space in between here, in between both feet. So normally your hips go in the direction of that back foot. So we need to turn our hips so that it's going to be facing in the direction of your front foot. Same with your shoulders. So we're going to then bring our hands around our back and holding onto the forearms if you feel comfortable enough to do that. Keeping the shoulder blades together. We're going to take a big deep breath in. And as we exhale, again, just from the hips, we're going to fold forward. So just make sure that shoulder on the right side doesn't come up towards the ceiling as you're coming down. You're going to keep them square in line with that front leg. Pause again. Take a big deep breath in. Folding forward. So again, we're getting a nice strong stretch down that front leg. Keeping our alignment in good positioning. And just moving with our exhale. When it comes to the point where we can't go any further without our back curling, we'll just stay here and breathe into that tightness. Lovely. And from here then we're going to slowly then just breathe in and pause for a few seconds. As we exhale, coming up, we're going to bring our hands onto the hips. We're going to bend that front knee into our warrior one. We're coming now. So if you want, you can walk your foot out a little bit more if you feel like it's not strong enough. So you're going to bring that knee above the ankle, that back foot, you're planting that baby toe down onto the ground. Again, you're going to have your hips, shoulders facing in the direction of that front leg. And we're going to inhale, bring the hands up. And we're looking up in between the hands if we feel comfortable. Lovely. And from here then, as we exhale, we're going to bring the hands down and back behind us, straightening up that front leg, and we're going to fold forward into our single leg folding forward bend. With our inhale, we're going to come up, release our hands, bend the front knee, bringing ourselves in to our warrior one. So with every exhale, we'll be folding forward. And with every inhale, bending the knee, coming into our warrior one. Just one more time. On the next exhale then, just bringing the hands down onto the hips. We'll straighten up that front leg, rotate the hips out to where they began, and we're walking up that back foot. So we're going to do the same again, but on the opposite side. So you're going to walk back the left foot this time. We're going to rotate the hips so that they're now facing in the direction of your front foot. Same with your shoulders. We're going to bring the hands behind. Take a big deep breath in, keeping the shoulder blades together. And as we exhale, you're folding forward over that front leg. So just keep those shoulder blades coming together at the back, holding onto your forearms or your elbows. We're going to pause here, take a big deep breath in. And with the exhale then, just releasing, coming up nice and slowly, releasing the arms. You can bring your hands onto the hips if you want. You're going to bend that front knee. So make sure the knee isn't going out past the ankle. You're going to keep it so that it's stacked above your ankle. They're protecting each other. Your hips again are facing in that direction of that front leg. Shoulders again in the direction of the front leg. And you're bringing the hands up. So looking up in between the hands if you feel comfortable again. So as we exhale, We'll bring the hands behind us, holding onto the arms, folding forward. And then as we inhale, coming up into our warrior one. And just flowing with your breath. On the next exhale then, just allowing the hands to come down onto the hips. We're going to straighten up that front leg, rotate the hips, and slowly then walking up that back foot. And just shaking out the legs if you feel like you're a little bit tight after that. Just loosening them up. And we're going to then just come into our tree pose. So with our tree pose, if you want to come near a wall or anywhere at all where you can actually hold on to, you can of course if you're not used to it. This is to work on your balance. So there's 3 different ways to do it. So we can just plant down both feet as always. Spread the toes as much as we can. We're rooting down with those feet. You're going to take the right heel off the floor and just rest it over on top of that left ankle. So you want to keep your hips from rising with that opposite foot. So just keeping that nice and stable, rooting down, bringing the hands into prayer position. And then as we inhale, we can bring the hands up into our tree. Just try not to crowd out the ears, keeping loads of space around the neck, shoulder blades together at the back, our tummy nice and strong. So that's one version of it, okay? So if you want to hold here, you can. I'm going to bring the hands down for now and show you the next version of it. So you can bring your foot actually anywhere up along that opposite leg except for pushing up against the knee joint itself. So just bring it into the calf, check your hips to make sure one hasn't risen up. You're keeping them nice and stable. So rooting down with that foot. And just trying to keep the hips stable. Hands to the heart. And then we'll inhale, bringing the hands up. Brilliant. So just holding here for a few nice big deep breaths in and out. Again, if you need to hold on to the wall, you can. The next version then, you'll plant down that left foot. You can bring the foot itself, the opposite foot, up above the knee. So when you bring it above the knee, again you'll want to be nice and stable before we do this. Keeping the hips square. Bringing the hands to prayer position. If we feel comfortable, we can bring the hands up into our tree. So a good thing to do here when we're doing our tree pose is to find a spot on the floor in front or the wall in front and to concentrate on that to help keep our balance. And then bringing the hands together into prayer position again and bringing the hands down onto the hips, releasing that foot, bringing it on to the floor and just shaking it out. So again, for the next round of our tree, we can do the opposite side now. So you can bring it anywhere. So I'm not going to get you to do all 3. You can just hold whichever position you want. So you're going to take the heel off the floor. You can either rest it on the ankle, up against the calf, or up above the knee, just making sure the hips are nice and level, bringing the hands up and shoulder blades together. If you feel like any of those things are just a little bit too much, even taking the heel off the floor if you feel unstable, just standing in your mountain pose, bringing the hands up, bringing the chest open, arms out. And even from here we can take the heel off the floor for a few seconds and bringing it back down. Again with the other foot, bringing it back down and just trying to build yourself up. or bringing the hand against the wall, whatever support system you need is absolutely perfect. When you're ready then, just bringing the hands together in front, bringing the hands into prayer position, and the hands down. Lovely. So we're going to come down into our seated folding forward bend now. So bringing the legs out in front, shoulder blades together at the back, sit bones, weight is evenly distributed, and sitting nice and tall, pushing out through the heels, drawing the toes back towards us. We're going to do one leg, so seated folding forward bend over one leg. So like the tree pose, we're going to bring the sole of that right foot up against either the calf muscle or the hamstring, so we're not pushing up against the knee joint at all. Trying to make sure again we're keeping the shoulder blades together. If you need to place a cushion underneath that knee, you can, the one that's hanging out to the side. Otherwise we're going to keep ourselves in a nice straight backed position, shoulder blades together. We're going to inhale, bring the hands up, and as we exhale, allowing ourselves to hinge forward from the hips only, so keeping your upper back straight and your lower back straight, hinging from the hips, allowing the hands to come down. Keeping the shoulder blades together as much as we can here. Take a nice big deep breath in and out. Pushing out through the heel in front, drawing the toes back towards us. With every exhale now, with every exhale, we're going to just see, can we create space to move a little bit more into it without rounding our back behind. And just hold it here. So if you feel like it's too much, you could always get a scarf or a belt or something that you can loop around, even a sock, a long sock. You can bring it around that foot, hold it onto it, draw your shoulder blades together at the back, and slowly walk your hands in along it to help with that flexibility in those hamstring and calf muscles. From here then we're going to inhale and bring the hands up. Exhaling, allowing the hands to come down. We're going to bring that right foot out in front now, drawing up the left foot. So left foot again up against the calf or up against the hamstring, whichever is most comfortable for you. We're going to bring the shoulder blades together at the back. You're pushing out through the heel on that front leg, the long leg out in front. Toes coming back towards us. Sitting nice and tall. Inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, hinging forward, allowing the hands to come down onto the shin or the knee, wherever you find comfortable, with the shoulder blades together at the back. Dipping the chin just slightly towards the chest. We don't want to hang the neck when we're in this position. And as we inhale, just pause. And with our exhale, just hinging from the hips, coming in along, getting that lovely stretch in the hamstring. Brilliant. As we inhale then, just allowing the hands to come up. And as we exhale, just allowing the hands to come down. From here then, we're going to bring both legs out in front. Just again, sitting on the sit bones, making sure we're rooting down with the bony parts of the butt. And we're going to draw up that right foot. Bring the right foot over that left leg. Again, with the foot out in front, toes coming back towards us, pushing out through the heel. We're not going to curl the back here, we're straightening ourselves up while we're here. When it's that right knee out in front, we're going to bring the left hand onto the right knee. We're looking straight ahead, taking a nice big deep breath in. Okay, we're bringing that right hand back around to the side. As we exhale, just rotating from the waist over towards that right side, and then looking over the right shoulder. Keep pushing out through the heel in front, drawing the toes back towards you, and try not to crowd out the ears here. Draw your shoulders down towards your hips, and just breathing nice and deeply. We're going to take a nice big deep breath in, and as we exhale, twisting from the waist, bringing the right hand onto the knee, allowing the left hand to go to the left side, and just getting a counter twist then over towards that left side. Again, keep those toes out in front, drawing back towards your body. Big deep breath in again. And as we exhale, coming back to center, we'll release that leg, drawing up the left foot this time. Bringing the left foot over the right leg, pushing out through the heel, toes coming back towards you out in front. Straighten the body up. When it's the left knee, you're going to bring your right hand onto the left knee, left hand to the left side, back around to the side of us. Look straight ahead, take a big deep breath in. And as we exhale, twist from the waist over towards the left side first, and then allowing the head to follow, looking over the left shoulder. Brilliant, so just pause, take a big deep breath in. And as we exhale, coming back to center, bring the left hand onto the left knee, right hand to the right side, and twisting over towards that right side. Lovely, and just taking a big deep breath in again. As we exhale, coming back around to center, bringing both feet out in front. We're going to lie down on the mat and come into our bridge pose. So bringing our ankles underneath the knees, hands down by the side, flatten the shoulder blades. Keep your arms and hands flat down onto the floor, pushing into the floor. Anything touching off the mat is rooting down on the mat. We're going to engage our thigh muscles, our glute muscles, our tummy muscles, keep our back nice and strong. As we inhale, bringing those hips up towards the ceiling. Hold in here. So nice big deep breaths in. Keep your knees hip distance apart. Make sure your toes are pointing straight ahead. Keep that tension in the muscles. So we're being really, really strong. On the next exhale, slowly bringing the back down onto the mat. The next pose we're doing is our fish pose. So from here, you're going to bring your hands underneath your bum. So the palm of your hand is on the floor, hands underneath the bums. You're going to bring your legs out in front, ankle to ankle together, flexing the feet. You're rooting down with the elbows, shoulder blades together at the back. You're going to inhale, raise your chest up. So you're taking your upper back off the mat, and you're just placing the back of the head on the floor. So you have an upper back bend here. So you're drawing the chest up towards the ceiling. You can feel your elbows underneath you pushing into the floor to get that lovely back bend. Keep flexing the feet out in front. And breathe and just feel a nice sense of openness in the chest and in the heart as you're lying here in your fish pose. Brilliant. So on the next exhale, slowly just sliding the head back down onto the floor. You're going to release the hands out. I'm just bringing the hands out to the side, palms facing upwards. Getting into a position where we're nice and relaxed. If you want to get a blanket or anything just to lie back, you can. We're just taking our time here just to breathe and let go. So just scanning through your body again silently and privately to yourself. Checking to see how your body's feeling. Starting to notice any sensations we feel inside the body. If we can feel our pulse or our heart beating. Starting to notice our breath. Feeling the coolness of the breath as we breathe in through the nose. And that warmer breath as we breathe out through the nose. Sending that breath, that inhale right down into the tummy and allowing it to expand like a balloon with every inhale. And as you exhale, just release and allowing yourself to relax down a little bit more. And as you continue to do that now, just starting to wriggle the toes nice and slowly. Trying to feel each toe on both the feet. As we inhale, just point the toes away from you, stretching the fronts of the legs. And as we exhale, pushing out through the heels, drawing the toes back towards us. Bringing the feet hip distance apart, if not wider apart. And as we inhale, just rotate the knees inwards. And as we exhale, rotate the knees outwards. Just relax the legs completely. Taking a nice long breath in and pause for a few seconds just before we let go and exhale. Starting to focus now on your shoulders, and as we inhale, just draw the shoulders up. And as we exhale, draw the shoulders down. So just up and down with your breath. And just relax your shoulders completely, relaxing your arms and legs completely. Focusing on your head and neck now. So as we inhale, just rotate the head over towards the right. And as we exhale, the whole way over towards the left. Just one more time over towards the right and left. And just coming back to center again. Trying to breathe nice and deeply again. And just imagining now with that breath that with every exhale we're breathing out any negativity, any self-doubt, any worry, any anxiety, anything at all that no longer serves us. It's just leaving our body and mind and energy with every exhale. With every inhale, we're breathing in loads and loads of positive energy into our body. So as we empty our bodies of anything that no longer serves us, we're creating space in our body and mind for all the good stuff. So breathing in lovely positive energy and just relaxing for a few more moments. And the next inhale, then we're just going to slowly Bring our legs, our knees one by one up towards the chest. Bringing both hands around the knees and just giving yourself a nice big hug. Just rocking side to side on the mat. And we'll just roll over then onto our right side. Using our left hand then to help push us up nice and slowly and safely. Just coming into easy cross legs then on the floor again, on the mat. Brilliant. I'm just going to bring the hands together into prayer position, rubbing the hands nice and fast. Bringing the hands over the eyes, taking a nice, long, slow, deep breath in and out. And bringing the hands together into prayer position in front of the chest. And thank you so much for spending this last hour or so with me to practice. I hope you're all keeping well, and if you need anything at all, just give me a shout. Okay, thank you so much. Take care and hopefully see you soon.